Unlicensed security guard gets 25 years of life with the possibility of parole. Hold on, give me a second. I need a drink. Let's go!
Property. You know you've been trespassed. You know you're not supposed to be here.
Was a security guard who shot and killed a man in a Lowe's parking lot over Memorial Day weekend.
I told you to stop it! Do not angle the vehicle at me! Call the authorities now!
The civil suit, there was a personal dispute between Nelson, the landowners, and the security company, and that guards have been instructed to harass him. Gimbal will have the possibility of parole after 25 years.
What's going on, guys? You guys are tuning back into the Watch Podcast. Today, we are looking into a case, I guess to say a 3-year-old case, regarding a security guard who was convicted of manslaughter in May of 2023. And this security guard worked for the company called Cornerstone Security. And Cornerstone Security, they only offer armed security. They don't offer anything else. And they have a mission statement on their website. I have to take a peek. It says that this company, Cornerstone Security, provides premium security founded on the truth. The truth. Yeah, we'll get into the truth in a minute. With the spirit of excellence, knowledge, and understanding. Wow, why would you not want to hire these people? Truth, knowledge, understanding. Man, these guys are freaking. Yeah, these guys right here are top tier. Okay? You want to talk about grade A security? Yeah, we're talking about these guys right here. Cornerstone Security. Yeah, sure. Cornerstone Security had hired a guy who goes by the legal name of Logan Gimbel. Logan Conrad Gimbel, if you guys happen to give a damn. And he was born in 1993 of May. Gosh, man, May is not his lucky. That's not his lucky month. Jeez, everything's happened in May. He lived in Oregon. He served 6 years in the Air Force. Thank you for your service, by the way. In Korea, in the Middle East, and he had sustained some injuries to his eye and his ear, where he was medically discharged. Now, in April of 2020, Mr. Logan decided he didn't know what else better to do with his life, and he decided to become certified in the state of Oregon as an unarmed security guard. All right, he's taking some big steps here, guys. And in September of 2020, he decided to complete his training to become an armed security officer. And that actual certification, the state never received his application. Now we got to remember, we had taken facts that this was during COVID. There's a whole lot of crap going on. Could have gotten lost in the mail, possibly. But Cornerstone, truth, knowledge, and experience hired Logan knowing he did not have a firearms permit. He went to the training, but he never received his permit. His firearm status was still blank. Okay. All right. So anyway, they ended up hiring this guy, and they patrolled a shopping center. Now, this shopping center is not an easy shopping center. It's located at the Delta Park Center, and it has several big box retailers. It's got a Lowe's, which I used to work for Lowe's, security manager. Yeah, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I did work there. Dick's Sporting Goods, Walmart, and and a recycling center called Bottle Drop. We'll get into Bottle Drop in a minute. And TMT Development was the property management for these places or for the shopping center. And they don't just manage that property. They also have two other large downtown businesses that are tall as buildings. It's the Park Avenue West and Fox Tower. Yeah, I'm impressed. It's property management. I need to work for them or work with them. And I want to take a deeper. I want to take a deeper dive into Cornerstone security. And I know that I know we're talking about Logan Gimbel involved in a shooting, but I want to take a deeper dive into the security company itself. Now, the company had revealed a lot of warning signs that the guards may have been ill prepared to safely manage the crowd, and it included the city's most vulnerable and impoverished people. Now, okay, impoverished people would be probably a lot of transients. You have a recycling center, which is going to attract transients. It's going to attract a lot of difficult people. Okay. If you guys have ever dealt with homeless people, you have to talk to them in a certain way. Otherwise, they really have zero respect for you. Okay. It's bad enough that these homeless people get assaulted by security guards on a daily basis, and most of the stuff goes unreported and it goes unnoticed. Okay. Now, obviously, when you're in this large of a shopping center, it's very hard for you to get away from a lot of these things. Okay. You're going to run into a lot of knuckleheads. You're going to run into a lot of patrons that just really have zero respect for security in itself. Okay. And because of that, Cornerstone did not have the proper people working there. They had a bunch of armed guards that worked there and did not de-escalate a lot of situations that occurred over there. And as I'm reading a lot of this, the bottle drop patrons, okay, tensions were already high during the pandemic. And you had customers with heavy garbage bags and shopping carts full of empty bottles. Okay. And sometimes they would wait in a line of hundreds of people. Okay. And you had 3 former guards that worked for Cornerstone Security, offered who offered no de-escalation training. And banked on the guards, and many of whom had military or law enforcement backgrounds. Now, you guys probably know where I'm getting with this, all right? This is going to be, you guys probably jam me up for this one, but I don't trust military or law enforcement backgrounded individuals to de-escalate situations. Okay. I'm sorry. You guys can take that how you want it. But the Cornerstone is known to hire prior experience on how to defuse intense encounters. These people that they had hired had probably had very little to zero to no experience in defusing tense encounters. There was no tactical communication training. Okay. Said one of the former employees, who left that summer. They just expect people that they hire to know how to do things when they got there. When they got to handling situations, they figured that they're hiring these military and these law enforcement guys, that they would have the experience and the training and the knowledge how to de-escalate a situation. And I'm sorry, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I do not believe that law enforcement and military individuals with that kind of background are going to be able to handle a situation where it involves de-escalation. Okay? It only escalates. It does not get any better. Okay. Sorry. I mean, and I'm going to touch on this on another day, but I just want you guys to know my feelings towards prior law enforcement, prior military. And I'll thank you guys all for your service, by the way, but you guys are terrible security guards. Okay. And a lot of bottle drop customers said that anyone that spent enough time there would see that a lot of these security guards, former law enforcement and military, have ego complexes. I don't know. And they love to just stir up some stuff for people that are already dealing with a really jacked up situation of being homeless and, you know, and having to struggle. Okay. There's a guy that does landscaping that goes to bottle drop, 2 or 3 times a week. Okay. And he believed that the guards were messing with an older black man out of boredom, harassing him. First telling the man to head towards the bottle drop, and then when he got there, they told him to turn back to the end of the line. And they tried to detain him, and it just went bad from there. So moral of the story, what this guy was trying to say was that the security guards were trying to create conflict, not de-escalate conflict. Okay. So Logan Gimbel was one of the 3 security guards that patrolled that shopping center. And there's one individual in particular that was known to Cornerstone security guards. And the guy, his name is Freddy Nelson. And Freddy Nelson is a piece of work. And Freddy Nelson, I like to say, attracted negative attention. And he's a very, very troublesome person. And he was unruly and he was uncooperative. Now, if you guys work the private sector, you guys have known that especially if you guys work a shopping center, you guys know who is the uncooperative person and the people that you have to deal with on a regular day basis. Okay. And it's up to you guys to figure out what the best course of action is. Okay. If this guy's going to be a piece of work, but he's going to be there every day, then we have to find a middle ground. The problem with security guards is that they know that they work in these places where they're going to see these same individuals on a daily basis, and all they do is continue to escalate and escalate and escalate and escalate. It never gets any better because they choose not to meet in the middle, a meeting of the minds, if you will. Okay, we have to understand. Yes, they're on drugs. Yes, they're homeless. Are they going to get off drugs? Probably not. Well, maybe. Are they going to stop being homeless? Who knows? But for the time being, and for that particular moment, we have to be able to work with our external customer. God, I'm losing my voice. External customer is that customer that you deal with on a daily basis. Every time you make contact with him, every time you ask him to leave, you are pretty much dealing with your external customer, and that person that you deal with on a daily basis, the person that you escort off the property every single day, is going to be your moneymaker. That is going to be the person that keeps you employed. Cornerstone security guards didn't understand that part. Okay. We also have to remember that during this time, during COVID time, and then we're just finally getting away from it, the law enforcement, half the law enforcement already quit their jobs. A law enforcement wasn't showing up to a lot of these calls, so they gave the job to security. Oh God, we shouldn't have done that. Security had their one chance, their one opportunity to be like, "Yo, this is our show. Let's make it happen." And Freddy Nelson lived in 2 buses nearby. And he wanted in life wanted to own a vacant lot so he can bring all his homeless people with him or whatever. Or he can do whatever he wants, do drugs, sell drugs, whatever. And no one's going to say anything. I guess that's like, maybe that's where his mind was at the time. And, you know, just like every other functioning addict, he was a handyman. He collected pallets, bottles and cans, and regularly visited Lowe's to pick up pallets and had the approval of Lowe's. And I worked at Lowe's, okay? To get approval to pick up pallets is huge. Okay? Because Lowe's makes you go through, they have to go through a whole legal process and proceedings, and they got to talk to there's like three stairs they got to climb to get approval for this guy. So when this guy gets approval to be able to take the pallets, I don't know. It's huge. But he would also sell drugs, which attracted the attention of Cornerstone security guards. So they had a bolo out. Be on the lookout for Freddy Nelson. He's a jerk. He's unruly. He argues and fights with security guards. And this guy just needs to go. He's got to go. This guy is becoming a nuisance. Okay? And it was so bad that every day security guards would make contact with him and kick him off the property and argue, and he would just kind of argue and fight back. Now, you'd probably say, man, this guy's a piece of work. Well, this guy's been arrested on several occasions. The court shows his wife, Carrie, who was also in the vehicle, filed for a restraining order against Mr. Nelson back in July of 2019. And through the now, although the order was not successfully served, she couldn't get anyone to serve him. Through the public information, 2.5 weeks after she filed the order, the Nelson Jr. was arraigned on multiple charges, including felony burglary, fourth degree assault charges, against his wife. And a judge ordered Nelson not to contact his wife, and the order expired after the charges were dismissed, because obviously that's usually when you deal with domestic stuff, they say, I don't want to press charges anymore. I changed my mind. Whatever. Dismissed in July of 2020. Okay. And then Nelson also had a recent run-in with the law, including misdemeanor and assault and menacing charges. So yeah, the guy's a class act. Okay. Yeah, we cannot deny that Freddy Nelson is a piece of work. Can't deny that. Not at all. And so when we deal with people like that have zero respect for law, zero respect for law enforcement, and just runs around their cities or their towns like they owe them nothing, those are the worst ones to deal with. And those are the ones that you kind of have to meet in the middle, because they're not going to go away unless they get arrested, unless they move, in which this guy lives in 2 buses. He wasn't moving anytime soon. And when we have to ask ourselves on the demographic of when it comes to homelessness, the homeless are always looking for resources. What's going to be closer for me to be able to pick up drugs, to be able to do my recycling, to be able to, to panhandle. And that park center says it all. Breathing for homelessness. Now, let's just throw it out there. Let's say Bottle Cap no longer existed in that shopping center. Would things change? Yes. Would have. But because of the crime and because of the nuisance, that's why they hired security to do one job. So, one day, Freddy had entered into Lowe's, okay, to purchase some items for work for his bus that he had lived in. And he was going to try to remodel it. When you're in that pipe, man, I'm telling you, anything's possible, all right? And so Logan, Mr. Gimbel, the security guard, that was working at that facility saw Nelson had backed in into a parking lot, a parking spot in the Lowe's parking lot, and saw him, and he parked his vehicle partially close enough to almost block him in. Now, would Freddy be able to move out if he needed to? Yeah, he could. But the security guard had temporarily kind of moved it to a point where he could partially block Mr. Freddy in. All right. And you got to remember, Mr. Freddy and Logan, they've been going at it. Okay. Not only has Logan been going after Freddy, but the 3 other security guards that also worked on that site.
You're shaking. You're looking for a fight, man.
Whatever.
I can already tell that the adrenaline's pumping through you. You're ready. You're balling up your fists. I get it. I see it.
I'm balling up my fists, holding my keys.
You want to fight.
You just.
So you know what?
And so you're trying to agitate it
right now.
And you're trying to agitate it. You're trying to agitate it.
We can wait here.
Out on this?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I know we've had this problem with them before doing this. So
Yeah.
I think it's time to boot him off. Because we keep telling him.
Are you saying you're excluding him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I know that in the past we've told him.
Okay. So although Cornerstone trespassed him, the property management did not trespass him from that property. And the fact that he was given permission by Lowe's to be able to pick up the pallets can tell you that, yes, the security guards may trespass him, but he still has a right to be there. And that's when a security guard has to make a decision and talk to Freddy and say, hey, listen, you're trespassed by us. I understand that you need to go get you need to go do pick up your bottle cans, whatever. You need to go to pick up your stuff from Lowe's, but that's it. That's it. And it doesn't look like they had these conversations with him. More, it seemed like he was just more of like a kind of back and forth, calling him homeless, kind of piece of this, piece of that, and yelling at him. And unfortunately, yelling doesn't get anybody anywhere. So Logan, he actually ends up shooting up. He actually passes by, and he's telling him, he's ordering Freddy to get out of the vehicle.
Get the fuck out the vehicle now!
We have to remember that our jobs as security guards are to de-escalate situations and try our best not to escalate them. Did he have to try to enter his vehicle to pull Freddy out? No. I tell that to everybody. You are a security guard. You can do nothing. You don't have to get yourself physically involved in a situation if it's going to either help, it's going to make you lose that contract, or people are going to record you. So, so Freddy's like, dude, screw you. I'm getting the hell out of here, and Freddy, there's a back window on the driver's side, the driver passenger side. Looks like a Logan reaches in, pepper sprays Freddy inside the vehicle.
You refusing to leave my property?
Oh, you fucking asshole! Oh, I told you.
So many things wrong with that picture. Because it wasn't going to stop Freddy from leaving. It was actually going to increase the chances of him evading. Now, let's look back at this piece. What happens if Freddy gets pepper sprayed by the security guard? He leaves, driving down the street. He can't see. His vision's blurred. He kills somebody or seriously injures somebody. Who's liable for that? It's going to be the company, and it's going to be the security guard. So in all, this is a lose-lose situation here. He tries to leave the situation. You know, he's already pepper sprayed. Now he's trying to get the hell out of there. Now, at this point, we have to ask ourselves, was the security guard, Logan Gimbel, was he in peril? Was he in immediate danger where he could not safely remove himself from the situation? And the question and how I'm going to answer that, I'm going to say that no, he was not in peril. He could have moved out of the way anytime he wanted to. Okay? He saw the vehicle getting turned. He saw the vehicle turning on. He saw him trying to shift. That was an opportunity for him to say, listen, I got to get the hell out of here. Okay? I already pepper sprayed the guy. I could get myself in trouble, but let this guy get the hell out of here. So he's ordering him to get out of the vehicle after he attempted to run him over, allegedly run him over. And he fired 4 shots. Clean shots. 1 in the head, 1 in the chest, and 2 rib cages. Look like probably maybe some hollow points. Or no, went through glass. It could probably Full Metal Jackets. But anyway, he shot him with the Glock, semi-automatic, and it didn't look like he showed up dry. That's for sure. Okay, I didn't see him trying to chamber anything in. It was already in there. All right, he didn't run dry. Good for him.
I keeps one in the chamber in case you ponder it.
All right, never show up empty. and then, you know, as he shoots him, he's still screaming, still yelling. He's not de-escalating the situation. At any time during this whole altercation did he de-escalate the situation. The screaming, the cussing is not going to help situations. It makes things worse. You have to remember, this guy's a career petty criminal. You think he wants to be have orders taken by someone that's enforcing a law or enforcing rules? No, he lives by no rules. That's why he wants to live on a vacant island lot. So he thinks he can do whatever he wants. When you're dealing with homeless people, we have to deal with them in a different, particular way. So the wife is coming out, Carrie's coming out, she's freaking out, and the security guard's sitting there still yelling.
Oh my God! Oh.
You already tried to hit me in the vehicle once, and that is assault. You also used pepper spray. You've been trespassed from the property multiple times.
Freddy!
At this point, the security guard already screwed up. He had an opportunity to render aid. He chose not to.
I see blood. Yes.
He's bleeding out.
Okay.
He tells her to call the authorities.
Call the authorities now.
That's your job. You call the authorities. You're the one who shot the damn guy. So he finally gets on the phone with medical and said with the 911 and says, "Hey, listen, I just saw the guy, whatever, tried to run me over, yada yada yada." And then he's like, "What do you want me to do?"
Do they want me to render aid? I don't know what to do at this point.
You want security to render aid? Are you calling medical? What do you want him to do?
I'm right here standing by.
What? 6-year military vet doesn't know what to do in an emergency situation. But Cornerstone hires prior law enforcement and prior military. And he states that his intent was to stop the threat. There was no threat. Gimbal stated in a court proceeding that he could not risk walking away from the confrontation and he had no other option. I'm sorry, but he had no other option but to fire. I think it was already overkill on the pepper spray. Okay. He was mildly incapacitated. I don't think he was going to be able to pull out any type of weapon at the time. I'm sorry. It looked like he was trying to leave. And we can say that the security guard, Logan, prevented Freddy from leaving. All in all, you know, he's also stated that he could not take his eyes off of him. Very dreamy, I guess. And could not turn his back. And he wasn't sure what Freddy was going to do at that point. I don't know. Leave. And so Gimbal was charged with second-degree murder in May of 2021 for the fatal shooting at the Delta Park Center. And Cornerstone Security defends Gimbal, stating that Nelson couldn't identify the item. I'm sorry. That Logan could not identify the item in his possession as he was inside of a vehicle. And I look at this. You already have history with the guy, okay? You're a security company. You got to deal with this guy on a daily basis. Yeah, he could be verbally aggressive. He could be, but it appeared that he was never confrontational. Okay. And it looked like he was just more of a nuisance to the security staff. And now we can take away from this situation and learn that we have to deal with people a little bit differently. Okay? There's different demographics, and you have to be able to change your hat interchangeably in the type of groups that you're in. Okay? Type of area that you're in. You have to be able to wear different hats. You have to be able to take the verbal abuse. That's what we got into the job for anyway. To be able to take verbal abuse. Now, I can say this, that given the experience as a guard, Mr. Logan was very inexperienced. Okay. Yeah, he had military experience. Yeah, he had, good for him. But security is a different entity, different program. Our main job is to observe and report and go from there. Now, what the security guards could have done, and I don't know if Cornerstone has this, but these are situations where these could be recordables, documentables. We could do an incident report. We can send it to management. So management can say, wow, this guy is a problem here. He's a huge problem. We have to issue a trespass, which they did not, because I'm pretty sure that none of these reports are getting to the property management. Now, under Oregon law, private security guards have the same ability to detain a person as any other citizen. If they have probable cause to believe a crime has been committed in their presence, they can make a citizen's arrest and temporarily prevent the person from leaving until law enforcement arrives. They may be able to use force, reasonable force, to defend themselves, protect property, prevent criminal and trespass, or make a citizen's arrest. So we have to remember that we have the same exact law as any other citizen. We're just wearing uniforms, okay? Plain dress up. So yes, we can detain people, but we have to look at things. Is it in the best interest of the company that I'm working for? Is it in the best interest of the property? Is it in the best interest of anything? A million things could have happened in this main situation. Let's say he did not shoot. The guy runs off, hits somebody in the parking lot, and whose fault? Security. I don't know what's up with security guards, But there's too many damn security guards out there walking around unlicensed without firearm permits. This is probably the fourth occurrence that I've actually covered involving a security guard shooting and unaliving someone, killing, whatever. I don't care what YouTube says. Where it ended fatal. And you come back, you do a background on the security guard, he's not even licensed. If you own a security company, it is your responsibility to check their permits. If they do not have a permit, they cannot carry. If they show signs of aggression, they should not carry. It's crazy. So all in all, during the trial, it occurred from April 25th through May 8th of 2023. And a 12-person jury delivered a verdict, a guilty verdict against Gimbal. You got one count of murder in the second degree with a firearm. You got one count of unlawful use of a weapon with a firearm. 2 counts of unlawful use of mace in the second degree. Why? Because the wife got it too. The jury also found Gimbal was not guilty of 1 count of recklessly endangering another person. And Gimbal is in custody, and he will spend the rest of his life behind bars, 25 years at least. The important years of his life. He'll be out by the time he's 55, 56 by the time he gets out of prison. Okay. Now that if he does, I don't know, he has good conduct, where maybe they might, they may lower the days. I don't know. Probably not for murder victims or for murder suspects. So all in all, this one person that was just a nuisance this whole situation created so much more. What's the financial damage? Property Management Cornerstone are being sued by the wife. As of September 9th, 2024, they're imposing a $200 million lawsuit, which was originally $25 million of a wrongful death. But now they said, we want 200. And then the civil lawsuit, they're arguing that Gimbal had lack of proper training and supervision and escalated a dispute in the Lowe's parking lot. How can you argue against that? The guy had been a security guard since 2020. He finished his training in September for his firearms. The application was never received, so he wasn't even supposed to be carrying. This is solely on Cornerstone Security because they knew that Gimbal did not have a firearms permit. They assumed that he was military. They assumed that he had prior military experience, that he knows that he's going to know how to use a firearm. Of course he knows how to use a firearm. Gosh damn, he's a good shot. But what was his mannerism like? What was he just? These are prime moments where we have to say, is it going to cost me to have an armed guard? Or is it going to benefit me to have an armed guard? And that's the question you have to ask when you guys are deploying armed guards to some of your locations. Do they have their firearms permit? And also finding the location of where they conducted their training from is important. So Carrie Nelson hired an attorney of a Diamore Law Group, and alleged that Cornerstone Security lacked de-escalation training. Now, obviously, they're going to go into all their training folders and see what type of training they had, and it's going to show that they had no de-escalation training. TMT Property Management instructed Cornerstone guards not to engage with Nelson. That's huge. They told him, leave him alone. Quit messing with the guy. If he's committing a crime, handle it there. But if he's just conducting business, and he's not doing anything criminally, we have to. If Nelson was breaking a law, if he was fighting with his old lady in the parking lot, kick him out. He beat up his old lady. Hey, you know what? Preservation of life, detain him. Call law enforcement. Hey, this guy's beat up on his wife. There's a million and one things that could have happened that we could have done to help de-escalate the situation, and we did nothing. That's what I call security guards robots. Robots. They give him an instruction, and they're just there's no wiggle room. Now, if Cornerstone Security would have done what the property management requested, I would not be talking about this stupid case right now. Because TMT Property Management never pursued any civil or trespass charges against Nelson. And at the end of the day, the property management is going against the security guards because they don't want to get sued. They don't want to be responsible for this. They don't want to take the hit. They're going to, because they hired them. They hired them because they had good reviews. It's important, I guess. And they saw that they hired law enforcement and military trained personnel, or prior military and law enforcement. And unfortunately, I'm sorry, but I said this earlier, I do not agree with hiring military and law enforcement vets and giving them a firearm unless they've gone through some serious de-escalation training and you see where their mind or their head's at. So, I'm all out of time. I hope I covered enough on this. And I want it to be more towards I wanted this to be a warning for security guards, security companies, security guards out there, that you guys just can't go around just bullying people. We cannot go around bullying people and putting hands on whoever we want to put hands on. Can we run away from some of these situations? Yes. Do we have to sit there and pick fights with everybody? No. And this case, the security company reminds me of a security company that's here in Bakersfield. That I'm just waiting for something to happen. And it will. It has. And I'm just sitting back, just watching. I'm sitting back watching. Everyone's calling me, man. You hear this? You hear that city guard? You're doing this, they're doing that. I'm like, yeah, I heard about it. And it's only a matter of time. And when that happens, I'll be right here in my office, in my bedroom, doing a podcast on that security company. So, all in all, I know I said I was going to go, but give me a second. All in all, what did we learn from this? And I think this is a very teachable moment. This should be a teachable moment to let every security guard out there, every security company out there know that you cannot go around just picking fights with people. We don't have to look for trouble. Our day could be easy. We can learn how to talk to people. I used to have a really bad stuttering problem, and because I got into private security, I learned how to speak. I mean, better speaker, I guess. I still stutter sometimes, but so there is a takeaway from me working in the private sector, but is there a takeaway from everybody else? Did you learn something? Or do you just take your job out of context and look for trouble? Don't be reckless. Don't be reckless, guys. It's one of those situations where that we can actually learn from this, and we can actually teach our staff, valuable moments on this end, on how to de-escalate situations. And how to gain compliance without force is huge. If you can gain compliance without force, you've done your job, I can say. Well, guys, it's been real. You guys got any questions, concerns? You guys can find me at Nice Watch Patrol on Instagram. You guys can check our link tree in and see where we're at. If you guys got any questions, you guys can message me. I try to get to a lot of these messages as much as I can. I've gotten a lot of messages in regarding this matter. Hey, have you talked about this? Have you talked about it? Hey, are you ever going to talk about this case? And I was like, I don't know. It's a long time ago, but you know what? But it's so relevant. It happened so long, but it's so relevant because we're still talking about it. September 9th, they're going through legal of a wrongful death suit, excuse me. They're going through legal as a wrongful death lawsuit. And so, yes, there's a lot of teachable moments in this. And I hope you guys learned something from this, and I hope you guys are tuning in. Guys, love God, love each other. Let's go change the world!
Watching you, watching me.